Imagine having difficulty reading a menu or writing a check. Imagine putting yourself or family members at risk because you cannot read a medicine label. This is reality for many adults. Thankfully, there's an organization in our community that is here to help by providing free one-on-one tutoring to thousands of area adults who cannot read above the 3rd grade level. Here to tell us more about Learn to Read of Northwest Florida is Manette Magera, Executive Director. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi there. Well, this is a wonderful program, and it does affect, as we mentioned, so many different aspects of people's lives. So before we get into the actual program, just give us a brief overview, if you don't mind, of Learn to Read of Northwest Florida.
We've actually been around for almost 30 years, and something you might not know is that we're actually an offshoot program that was established at Council on Aging many years ago. That's where they identified the need, and then organized groups of volunteers that would tutor adults, and then it grew into the program that it is today.
Well, great. That is news to me, so thank you for sharing that, and we look forward to partnering with you more in the future as well. Well, tell us a little bit about, you are a nonprofit, is that correct?
Yes, we are a nonprofit. We get no government funding, and we get all our funding through donations and grants and fundraisers.
Mm-hmm. What do you see as your mission?
Basically, we have basically 3 things. We want to just let the public know that this problem is out there. It's pretty wide-reaching. There's actually an estimated 34,000 adults in Escambia and Santa Rosa County who are considered functionally illiterate, which means they can't really get through a newspaper article. You know, they'll start at the top, and as they get down to the bottom, they're reading so slowly, trying to sound out the words that they can't remember what they read at the beginning. There's no comprehension there.
Okay. Well, what are some myths that you've encountered out there about what people may think about people who have challenges reading?
I think probably the biggest myth is that people think if you can't read that you're unintelligent, you know, and that's just absolutely not true. I mean, many of our students that just have major brain power, they just don't know how to apply it because they don't know how to read. They're spending a lot of effort and really a lot of intelligence trying to figure out how to hide their problem, and they're managed to get through life. It's, you know, sometimes we have clients that are up in their 70s, and they've managed to get to that point, okay, at least well enough to survive to 70 and 76. Not being able to read well. And I read a story last year. It was a really nice, compelling story about a gentleman who worked, I think it was in Boston. He was in some kind of a trade job where I think he was working with wood or something. But in order to hide the fact that he couldn't read, every morning he would stop at the Starbucks, pick up a coffee and a Wall Street Journal, tuck it up over his arm, get to work, put it on the desk, and nobody was going to ask him about an article in there because they weren't reading it, but they just assumed that he could read.
Mm-hmm. So somebody who's managed and has done fairly well, what motivates them to actually come and want to participate in your program? Well,
we have people that have several different goals. I mean, they're wide-ranging. Many of the people maybe are really just out of high school and they didn't really learn to read, and they now have families and their children are starting school and they realize the need for learning. Some of them have specific goals, like they want to get a driver's license, they want to read the Bible, they want to get their GED. And so, you know, there's different motivations for why they'll come in and see us. But I really think a lot of it might have to do now with this age of technology we're in, with computers and Google. And I think they understand that, man, you can find out anything you want if you can just hop in front of a computer. But if you can't read, you just don't have that luxury.
Right. Now, this program is free. Is that correct?
Yes, it's free. We provide the tutoring services by recruiting volunteers, and then we train them to tutor the students. And we provide all the books and the materials for free, and it's free for, you know, the whole program exactly.
Great. So it's all volunteer driven then as far as your tutoring.
It is, yeah. We recruit volunteers from the area. You don't have to be an experienced teacher. We have many of our tutors are just people that don't have any teaching experience. But we've managed to fine-tune our training program so that in about 4 or 5 hours we can actually get somebody trained on how to use the system that we use. It's a very specific workbook system that works through grade 0 all the way up until the person can take their GED. And we can train somebody and get them matched up with a student in about 5 hours so that they can get started. And what we require of that volunteer is basically the time to meet with the student but generally we'd like 1.5 hours twice a week.
Well, great. Well, real quick, is there a success story you'd like to share with us?
Well, we have a lot of success stories
I'm
actually,
sure.
but the most recent one is we have a student named Kathy, and she's been in the program. When she started, she was probably reading at about a 5th grade level, and her comprehension was just not very well at all. This year, she's taking her nursing entrance exams.
Great.
And here's a good story about her. She actually took it 3 times, missed it by 1 point, but that girl is tenacious, as you must know, because she's made it to this point. And I believe she may have passed just recently.
Wonderful, wonderful story. Well, I know you've got a big fundraiser coming up, which will help you be able to do what you do. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's our Scrabble Soiree, and it's a really, really fun and unique fundraiser for the area. What we're doing is we're playing Team Scrabble. It's a competition. We'll have 35 teams, and there'll be tables with 8 players at each table. And so each table will compete against the other tables to build the biggest Scrabble board. We'll be playing like 2 rounds of that. So we have some twists and turns in there, and there's some fun ways. It's all good fun, but there's fun ways to kind of get ahead. If teams come dressed in some kind of a uniform, hats or T-shirts or whatever they can come up with that shows their unified team, they'll get bonus points. Get bonus points for finishing first, using secret words. And then probably one of the uniquest twists that we have is that in this game you can actually bribe the judges for words that might be questionable. And we have some celebrity guest judges. I just was confirmed that the mayor would be there. We have Debbie Ritchie from the Studer Group will be there. And we have a few other celebrities that will be there. Well,
now, how do people get a ticket? I'm sure you need to sign up in advance. Is that correct?
Yeah, the tickets are actually going pretty quickly. So if they want to get a ticket, they can call our office or get on our website. You can actually order tickets from our website.
Well, and we've been showing that information on the screen as
Great,
well.
thank you.
If someone were contemplating, they knew that they had some difficulty reading and they weren't sure, should I call or not, maybe they don't feel comfortable, what would you say to that person to encourage them to sign up for the program?
Well, what they need to know and understand is that we've been doing this for a long time, and we really have, we can do it in a very confidential and a safe space. So if they can just pick up the phone and give us a call, or come to the office, then we'll be happy to help them, and very discreetly if that's what they choose.
And I'm sure you'd welcome calls from potential volunteers as well.
Absolutely. We could always use volunteers. I'm happy to say that this year, because of our new training model, that we've gotten to the point where instead of having a waiting list for students, we actually have a few tutors that are waiting for a student. Used to be the students would wait for tutors, and now we're just about balanced out. But we're because of the publicity we've got going, we anticipate we'll have a big flow of new students, and so we will need some more tutors.
That would be wonderful.
Great.
Thank you very much for being here. That's great information. We'll be right back with more coming of age and news of the Rat Pack reunion.